Everybody got?
Michigan City Commission on Such Status African American Males, Wednesday, January 8th, 2020, not 2019.
Thank you, Lance.
It's 2020. Yeah, I'll say that. Okay, roll call.
Arthur Payne,
Present.
Joan Ganshaw,
Present.
Latanya Carmen, present. Marty Corey, Willie Millsap,
Present.
Pastor Collins, Pastor Carroll,
Present.
Nyla Williams, Lester Novell,
Present.
Tracy Tillman, present. Gene Simmons,
Present.
Louise Kelly, Albertine Allen, and Walter Cox.
Present.
We have a quorum of 9.
All right, the next thing on the agenda will be approval of minutes. Take a few seconds and look over your minutes.
Outside of the date 2020.
Any changes, adjustments, comments? Otherwise, open for a motion to accept as given.
So with the exception of the 2019 to 2020.
Right.
Yeah.
Been moved.
Second.
Moved and second to accept the minutes as given. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, and before I go any farther, Happy New Year to everybody. You know, we made another year, so you ought to be blessed. Okay, Treasurer's report. Marty is not here, but I think we were around a couple $1,000 at the end of, do you have last month's? I think we were around a couple $1,000 in the treasury at this point. Oh, wow. Okay, let me get ready. Hopefully Marty might come, but he's kind of busy, but we know what we basically have. Moving on down to old business. The African Gardens, I dropped off applications or requests for assistance on the end of last year, so starting this month I'll be going back to the banks I haven't heard from to see what's happening with that. And we'll start trying to get fundraising activities going again, so we might be ready by summer when the garden season begins, type of thing. The barber shop talk initiative recognition, I think that was when the state chair came up and was talking about them having this recognition on the leadership to come, and I had got into commit that they would pay for a bus if we took some gentlemen down to this event. They may have got the date. He gave us the date. Do you have the date?
I put it in here. It's actually in the minutes. That date was for April 1st, which was the kickoff.
Okay, April 1st is when they have it to run everybody down there?
Yes, and we had agreed to that between the state and Mr. Virgil Giles, who we talked to, that they would get a bus for us.
Right.
Yeah.
So your organizations or the people you deal with start inquiring if you might, those that are working with the barbershops, that might be a good place to start inquiring about gentlemen that might want to ride down there for health checkups or just to go to see the state capitol or whatever. But we want to be able to take some men to the state capitol for this event. We have a couple months to get that together, so we'll work on that. All right, moving on down, new business. Black History Month. That's for Marty, right?
Marty.
There actually was a meeting on Monday in regards to having the sponsorships letters ready to go out and just solidifying kind of what the timeline is looking like. It's going to be pretty much the same as it was last year, with all of the activities, including like the Mardi Gras and ending with the talent show with Don and Carnessa hosting. So we're just putting a sponsorship letter out there to make sure that we have enough to cover everything.
Is Alan Williams active with y'all?
I believe so. That's the...
Well, he's a band, but I haven't seen him. I just wondered if his health was all right.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Leadership Council, if I'm not mistaken, our young man that we had recommended, for whatever reason, I guess, is not able to participate at this point, so we need to come up sooner than later with another name, another individual. Has anybody got any suggestions or any relationship with any, what's the age limit?
I believe you have to be like high school age
18.
student, somewhere in there. So I think senior-ish, senior to
Okay, well, hopefully we come up in the next, well, as soon as possible, so we can let them know and get started this year with our representative.
yeah, they actually asked us to have somebody in, because it would only be for the rest of his term, which I believe ends in either March or April. I believe it's April. So whoever this person would be would only have to fill the term as it is until April. And then after that, if they,
We
then we would have
We'd
to,
like to get somebody that would not just fill in, but remain there.
yeah,
So as you talk to young men, let them know that they will continue his term, but we also would like to have somebody, so we ain't picking somebody every few
Right.
months. Somebody that would maintain and participate with the council. So we try to get a name to the secretary as quick as possible. Someone that you've talked to that have made, we want somebody that have made a commitment. Let them know that they have to make meetings and we want them to be active and vocal and represent.
So if you guys have somebody and you reach out to me, please make sure that they can make our next meeting, because that kind of was the issue with the first young.
He never came.
Yeah, he never came to the meeting, and so now we see that his,
Right.
So we want to make sure that he knows that we're here for him, or her, but more likely him, and that we're supporting them in their endeavors. So if you have somebody, before you contact me and say, hey, I have someone, make sure they can attend at least our next social status meeting.
Okay, the youth leadership, because we just touched that, the student youth area funding,
Yes, December 10th, we took 73 students. I had mentioned this in our last.
yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
And maybe you had the commission associated with that?
Yes, the commission was associated, but we never really got approved for the funding because just timing or whatever else. So the NAACP covered $517.50, and then out of pocket I came out the other $222. And so we're just trying to see what would the commission like to give back, because we did tell the NAACP what you guys were.
Is that the one that you were contacting, that told you to check with Marty about?
Yeah, I had spoke to Marty, and Marty gave a number, but we never confirmed it because we were never able to actually vote on it, so we couldn't give a definitive. So
Give me a number.
for the movies,
Oh, yeah, you gave me the bill, yeah. So we couldn't vote last meeting because we didn't have a meeting. I mean, we didn't have an official meeting. She presented with the invoice, but we couldn't vote last.
Right, but my concern was it never came in front of us to whether we could.
Because we couldn't vote on it, so.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about, the decision was made before last meeting, I would think.
No, so NAACP wanted us to partner with them.
Okay, but that was before our last meeting.
Right, it was before our last meeting. I'm about to explain to you now. So Mr. Scully called me about it, and I told him, I said, we in order for us to approve anything that has to be done in the meeting,
Right.
he asked if I would then present to the commission for us to sponsor, I think, $250. I said, I'll present it to the commission, but again, it has to be voted upon. So I told him, I can't tell, so I told him, I said, I can't say that we will give the money, but all I can tell you is I can present it, because and I told him in the past, we have funded movies the past 2 or 3 years, we've done it. So I told him we've done that in the past. I told him I couldn't say that we would, but I did tell him I would present it in front of the commission. And so the last meeting, I had the bill to present, but I couldn't present it because it was a non-voting meeting.
And also, the original date was for December 3rd, which was actually, by the time the commission, but by the time we worked out the details, it was after the November kind of meeting, and it was before the December meeting, so it wasn't really a time, that we could actually present it, especially with December, not being an official meeting. So, yeah.
I was concerned about it. I have a problem with somebody, people make decisions for us.
Right.
Especially when it comes to money. And if I'm not mistaken, when you had said something about it was before the November meeting. when I told you to check with Marty. So just, now if somebody approach or whatever, make sure it go through our system so we can accept that responsibility and make a decision based on that. When I saw it in the paper, I was kind of confused because I know it hadn't come in front of the commission to deal with, and that kind of bothered me. But no problem. It depends on how y'all want to deal with it. Then we got a quorum.
Yeah, so if you want me, I can tell you. So the bill that Tiny presented to me was for $222. Sorry, I do not have a copy of it
I do.
printed out. Do you?
Yeah.
So it was for $222. The balance left out.
No, I paid the $222 cash myself, and then the $517.50 was what the NAACP covered. But again, before the NAACP covered, they was looking for a portion of that $517 rendered back to the NAACP. So that's what is on the table.
So
any amount that we decide.
Right.
If you paid the two something, then we don't owe anything. The NAACP paid what they plan to pay, right?
I paid the $200.
I said, are you looking for us to reimburse you? Because I'm not excited about reimbursing the NAACP.
Well,
I feel
she specified out of pocket, so.
I was just gonna say, if you're looking for us to help.
I make a motion and everything.
Well, I said, I got no problem with that.
Tell me the 222.
NAACP acted without our consent. I'm not trying to be ugly. I just say I look at it, but I ain't got no problem with helping you out.
Yeah, so.
Yes, John.
So basically taking the students to the movies cost a total of $739.50.
That's what
There were 73
That's an awful lot,
students,
ain't it?
all students,
73.
73
Okay.
students, and they all had popcorn and drink.
No discount?
That's where the money came, popcorn.
I just gonna say,
Yeah,
that's
they sure did.
Or the admission. You gotta go to the dollar store before you go to the movie. I'm just saying.
Tiny, can I see the bill, please?
I was just gonna say. But in regards to that, if y'all want to discuss helping out, our secretary who put it out there, I have no problem with that. But as far as the NAACP, as far as I'm concerned, that's on them.
Yeah, so
They should have come to
it's
us.
73. The tickets were $5 a piece, so that comes out to $365. And then the popcorn and drink was at $535 a person for 70 people. That came out to $374.50.
Wow.
Screen.
So $517.50. You subtract that off of the total, and then you have $222 left.
I'm gonna say, right,
So half of that would be like $367.
That's $100 a piece.
We don't have a whole lot of money, so we need to discuss this.
Well, like I said, as far as I'm concerned, we ain't discussing the NAACP's. They pay $5 something, that's it. If you're gonna discuss anything, talk about how much you want to reimburse the secretary since she come out of her pocket. But we're not discussing the NAACP's money. They wanted to do it, they made a decision, that's on them.
Mr. Chair, is it possible I can make a motion to reimburse 200 and?
You already.
Oh, you made that? Okay, I'll second his motion then. Okay.
Any other discussion? If you have discussion, I don't know how you feel now. This is time to, it ain't a debate now, this is discussion. So if you have some concerns now, bring them up.
I just
Just say what you feel.
want to know where we are right now as far as funds.
Okay.
You know, let's kind of talk
So
about that. Is
I passed
anything else outstanding?
the balance, what we have so far, what I have. I haven't had to get with the controller because of the vacation, so I haven't had a updated account status from them, but from the notes and our spending, we should be at about 23,2092. So I think the only thing that should have came through us is our annual conference, the fee for the annual conference, which is $155. And so again, that would leave us at 2320. Looking at the notes and our past spending, we haven't had anything else approved other than the annual conference.
So,
I want to ask, how would I go about giving you guys a donation from Fly High Youth for $100?
Just write a check. Just write a check. And make it out to the commission.
I'd like to donate you guys $100.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
appreciate it.
See, that makes it 200 real easy now.
So,
See, we're gonna make that up. I need to keep talking.
We make it up.
And how about, the commissioners? I mean, for things like this, and, we, in order for us to stretch our money, I'm just, cautiously
we
concerned,
should be.
about you know, we spend money or somebody come and ask us for money. We just need to be, we just can't do everything. Unfortunately, we can't unless we are raising money, unless you want to forfeit your $50 and put it back into, you know, our fundraising committee money. You know, we have to do something different, and we just can't say yes to everything.
Without a doubt.
We
With that
can't.
being said, the fundraising committee, this 2020, we need to get off.
Well, let's get this
Yeah,
issue.
we'll,
Yeah.
I have some
Let's
So
get, let's
that's
get this
just my,
issue out.
you know, thought.
Let's get this issue out of the way. We have a motion and a second to reimburse the secretary the money she said she put out. If you want to reimburse the whole thing, you want to reimburse part of it, it's your decision. Before we take a final vote, any other
Well, the
input,
motion is
comments?
for 222.
I said the motion is to reimburse. Nyla was concerned about whether we can deal with that. But I'm just saying, are you comfortable with that, or you want to do a part of it, or however? Because it wasn't no guarantee. We just being nice type of thing in terms of trying to be supportive. But you know, like I'm not one. If you make a decision, irregardless of us, that's your decision. So is everybody comfortable with that?
You have a question?
Marty, I just wonder, did the NAACP approach us and then we had the inability to vote at the last meeting?
So I got a call from Mr. Scully in December, maybe late November, December, asking about the situation, about the movies. I advised him on our conversation. I said, I do not have that ability to vote. I said it would be something that the commission would have to decide where they want to. But I said in the past, we have sponsored kids to go to the movies. We did it, I think, at least 3 times. And the times usually were like on Martin Luther King Day. When the kids were in school, so we did that. So I told him we've done that in the past. I said, like I do with anything I bring before the commission, I will present it in the best fashion that I always do. But I can't guarantee you the $250 because I can't say yes. I said I will vote yes, but I can't tell you what everybody else will vote.
Right.
So that was our discussion.
So they requested 250 of us.
Yep.
And of that, they kicked in more, and Tanya took out of her pocket the 222. So there's a motion on the table. I really feel like if they brought it to us early, they brought it to us in December. It is something that we sponsor usually. I think it makes good sense for us, you guys. We had the inability to vote because we didn't have a quorum and because we weren't posted last time. So really, they had approached us, they asked for $250.
They didn't approach us, they talked to Marty, which they should.
Well, that's
Marty
all.
didn't make a commitment to him. Marty said he could not say for sure, so they moved on their own accord. I hear you, but Marty did not make a commitment. You're talking as if Marty made a
Whatever
commitment.
we do
No.
today is out of the kindness of our heart. It's not nothing
Right.
we committed
We
to.
weren't
Right.
committed
We
out,
weren't
so
committed.
to get back to what I'm saying, we got a motion to reimburse the secretary. If you're comfortable with that, that's what we vote on. Like I said before, we're not dealing with NAACP's situation. And so if you I'm ready to call for a vote, any other comment on the secretary's situation?
On the motion, yeah.
Is everybody comfortable? Motion and second, I'm just getting all the questions out of the way, make sure everybody comfortable, make sure they say what they might feel. Because if not, then I'm asking for the vote, all in favor, signify by saying yea.
Yes.
Nay. Those against say nay. Okay, so we reimburse the secretary for the money she spent, and that's our involvement with that project.
So that needs to be made out to you, Latanya?
Yeah.
Okay.
And Latanya, I will give you a donation to NAACP for the $28.
Thank you.
All right, no problem
Mr.
with
Chair, going forward, is this the process? One of us come out of our pocket for
No,
something?
that's not the
Okay,
process.
that's why I said, you know, going forward, that's not the case.
No, that's not the process. Matter of fact, you don't be coming out of your pocket. We come in front of the commission, and it's a commission thing. It's unfortunate that the secretary come out, we're gonna help her out. We don't have to. But I'm just saying, we'll do that since she paid for it. But I don't like the way the thing was handled, period. Because when she approached me about it, I told her they're not supposed to approach her, they're supposed to approach Marty. And she's supposed to let Marty know, and then Marty brings it up.
Right.
It didn't go the way that it's supposed to go, so that's how things are. Let's move on. Student, okay, what's the student you had funding?
The annual report is about that time for me to prepare to present the annual report for the commission. And I kind of got a late start last year, so if you guys could please get your reports in by the end of this month so that I can prepare it and have it prepped up, because I think it's supposed to go out in February, and we have a busy month with the Black History stuff, as well as Mr. Garrett did talk about the February 25th and his birthday. So yeah, I just would like to have all reports from any committees, working committees, or anything within the social status by January 31st.
And I thought that Faye might have explained it to you, since you took her place, but we got to have a written report.
Yes.
Not just a report. We didn't get a written report last time, a pack, an annual report.
I sent something over to Gail and Kim, but I don't think I sent anything back to them.
I got a copy of one of those if you want to see it. But we deal with a written report that we give to the council and to the members type of thing, not just a report to the council.
Okay.
So, and then if you like, because Faye and Ms. Jones really was good at that, maybe you could touch base with Faye if you need some assistance in terms of direction on how to do that.
Okay.
But we appreciate getting an annual report.
Okay.
But the committees that do function should be giving you something, and they'll let you know how to package that.
Okay.
I mean, Faye and Ms. Jones could. All right, that will take care of the new business. All right, so we want to find out what's going on this year. This should be a good year. Willie had mentioned something that we need to be a lot more serious about. You said something about fund. Who's all on the fund committee?
Fundraising committee.
So far, it's me and Nyla usually.
You won't be involved?
Yeah, Marty
Okay,
could be down.
we'll put Willie's name. Anybody else? I'm asking that because we got to get serious about this fundraising. And, Marty been stretching out dealing with the businesses, and we get a few dollars here, a few dollars there. Let's think about putting an event on. I mean, we're capable of putting on an event to where we can raise some money. We need to do something to generate some funds. I'm gonna be going to the city council. I gotta talk to the mayor first. To ask for some help, because that's what it's all about. We're part of the city, but I'm saying we need to really get serious about fundraising. Not just, the garden's a separate thing. That's a different situation. But
Speaking of the baby, hey, how are you? Mr. Wilson, please forgive my tardiness. I had something come up, Gene, had something come up this morning that good to see you. Yes, good to see you.
we appreciate you.
I'm sorry for the interruption, but I wanted to be here with you.
What, you want to say something?
No, sir, it's your meeting.
I guess you're going to be appointed. But anyhow, I appreciate that. But yeah, as far as fundraising, we got to get a lot more serious with it in terms of trying to generate some funds ourselves to do these things that we've been talking about with the schools and these different projects. We've been doing a lot the last few years with the little funds that we had. But let's get serious with some fundraising.
Just a question in regards to fundraising. So, do we have and I know Marty and Nyla would know more, but overall as a commission, do we have a budget that we've been working with annually as far as overall how much are we spending out so we know how much? And I know we have the Asking Garden that has something, but what would be a goal as far as the commission of fundraising that we can set now so that we can try to?
As far as a goal, like I said, we want to keep the gardens a little separate. That's a lot bigger money, and that's going to take a lot seriouser situation. Hopefully we can get help from the banks, and then we'll go to the businesses. That's a city project per se, I would say.
Okay.
But as far as setting the limit, we want to raise as much funds as we can just to maintain the ability to do the little things we've been doing with the students, with the schools, with other organizations, our scholarship and things of that nature. So it wouldn't be like raise 300 or 400 or something like that. Just raise as much funds as we can raise, because we can always find some use for it in terms of us supporting other efforts in the city. So it's not so much of a budget type of thing, because we were blessed in the last few years to have received money from the past mayor and from the city council. I think we got money from the council too. So we were blessed to be supported by the city, because it's the first time, we used to just get together and talk. But the last few years, we've not only just been talking, we've been doing, and that's what we want to continue to do. The things that we can, like taking the young fellows down to Indianapolis, and we might want to take some more young fellas over to Chicago, to a museum. It don't have to be DeSable, it could be anything.
I think it's a good idea for us to break down the things that we typically do,
Right.
which is the trips, the black barber shop, the things that we have been doing for the past several years. Look at the cost of that. Just we have a basic knowledge of, whether it's $10,000 or whatever, and then anything above and beyond that goes towards, people asking us for,
Right.
Donations. But the trips and the
Barbershop.
the barbershop, the transportation, the tickets, we know what that costs.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's a bad idea for us
And that's what,
to look at that and kind of know where we are starting at the beginning of the year.
Are there any costs in Marty, the celebration of Black History Month?
So yeah, that's one thing too, is that we usually are a sponsor for $500
Yeah.
for that. So I mean, that's something we can do. Just in the past, just the way we spent money is just, we've never done it. And I've never done it. I've tried it. What I've done though in the past, I've tried to break down every 6 months what we spend and what the things we spend to kind of get you to look at. But I've never really broke it down like that. And we can't do that. It's something that can happen.
Matter of fact, you've been doing a good job on the finance part of those things. But between you and Nyla and the secretary going through the records, pull out the things that, like the trips to Indianapolis and the barbershop, pull out those things, put that package together financially, and at our next meeting we'll talk about how to reach, definitely, and add the scholarship to that.
because the scholarships are due next.
No, the scholarship we give in May, May, something like that, a month or so before we graduate or come out of school or whatever. But if y'all could get together and put down a perspective on what we possibly need to make as a minimum.
Right.
And then we're definitely going to try to get as much as possible. But we'll keep talking about fundraising and try to get more people active and involved in that type of thing.
Okay.
So, is there any other general things before we go into individual discussions? Any other general things that first of the year, we just want to start out there? One thing, and I mentioned it at the last meeting, and it's something that's really bothering me, and we got to address it. I wanted to go through the bylaws today, but I didn't want to be that technical with it. At the last meeting, I mentioned the fact of attendance. And I don't want to harp it, but to me it's important that if you're on the commission, there's times where you're not going to be able to make meetings, job, sickness, different things, and that's understandable, but there's got to be a commitment. There's some members, and I would like for you to make up a list for me for the next meeting on how many meetings individuals attended last year. Okay. And I say that because we have some members that might have made 1 or 2 meetings last year. And we got some members that missed 3 or 4 already and missed this one. So what I'm saying is that we want people that's going to be here, and because they represent organizations. So there's a few organizations that have a problem, and I want we can get together and pen a letter to them to let them know between now and the next meeting, to let them know that We expect participation. If you're going to be on the commission, we'd like for you to be here if possible. And if you can't be here, we need to know so that your organization can replace you. Or if the organization is not adequate enough, then we can talk to the council about replacing the organization. There's a lot of people who would like to be on this commission. A lot of different, I'm asked all the time, do you have any vacancies? I tell them it's about organizations, it's not about people. You know, there's some individuals, but the mayor appoints the individuals, the others, it's mostly organizations. So it's not an individual thing, but you got to be responsible to the organization. You got to be responsible to the commission. Just like this, there's a couple, one person ain't been here in 5 or 6 meetings, or 4 or 5 at least. That bothers me. You know, I guess it's supposed to on the chairman. I want you here. But I'm saying that again, and I'm not going to harp on it. But this is a year where let's try to be here as much as possible. I mean, we're taking care of serious things. We're dealing with people's lives, and we're trying to help out in the best we can with whoever we deal with. I got a call a few days ago from the gentleman that's dealing with the census. He's going to Gary today, I think, and he wanted to come over here. I told him to get back with me. We were scheduling to talk about the census so the public, you know, TV, the public can hear about it. They're paying $37 an hour in Gary. They're paying $25 an hour. No, they're paying $37 an hour in Chicago, $25 an hour in Gary. So they might be paying $20 over here. That ain't bad for part-time, but they pay good money, but you got to go knock on doors and you got to work. It ain't like you can just knock on the door and pass a piece of paper out. You got to get that information. So in Chicago, I wouldn't even want to do it. I'm not knocking on no doors in Chicago. Jerry's got to shake it. Michigan City, you feel safe. You go knock on doors, ain't nobody going to shoot you.
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman, you know, in DC, they paid for the training as well.
Oh, yeah, you got to go to the training.
They paid for the training as well, and it was like $30 an hour for the last census there.
You go to the training, they pay you, but I'm hoping the fella get back with me. I told him he definitely could come to the meeting and share with the community. But I see they got stuff out where you can email and get involved. You see it around town. But that's coming up, and that's something that anybody might want to do.
Yeah, we need to make sure there's boots on the ground.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. And the fellow that called me, a reason he had talked to Brother Muhammad, the commission in Gary, and the commission in Gary told him to call me. He's talking to us because there's an emphasis on getting people of color out. I mean, in terms of actual census, to be counted. And people don't realize the census is got something to do with money on down the road.
That's bottom line.
You know,
Yes.
It impacts the city getting funds. So the more you get an accurate count, the more beneficial it is. So that's something that the commission, we're going to be supporting it, telling people to.
You can apply for the census job at the website 2020census.gov/jobs. That's where the application is.
What were you saying?
You can apply for the census job. I will send this to all the commissioners if you want to spread it, but the website is 2020census.gov/jobs. So
I'm hoping, I got his number. If you don't call me, I'm going to call him to try to get him here to really share with us what's going on.
His last name Elliott.
He didn't get his name. You talked to him?
Oh, I know. I went to a leadership class with him, so we keep in contact. I actually got an email from there because there's some summit or something there. Meeting that they have going on, so
okay.
It might be the same guy.
Because I told him he was talking about meeting with Gary today, but I told him Gary meet in the evening and we meet at noon, so I figured, but maybe that's why he didn't get back with me because they got something going on.
Yeah.
But we definitely, if you know him, then check with him. If that's the same one, let him know that we're getting here at the next meeting for sure.
Nicholas Elliott. Yeah.
No problem. Good. Okay. Any other?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
I'd like to bring up if we could agree upon, as we did with the Human Rights Commission, I see that we have no flag.
And I'm very concerned about the Pledge of Allegiance, where other commissions and other boards are, and we have just started that with the Human Rights Commission. It went through, we voted on it. I think it's the only proper thing to do, that's my opinion. And that we can say the Pledge of Allegiance before we start open up our committee, as others do. With the council does, and now the Human Rights is doing, I think it would be more than proper. And I feel very strongly about that. I'd like to have a motion that we could do that.
I think we need a vote on it. I think it's
No,
something
that'd
to
be the flag.
the chair.
I'll get a flag.
Okay.
Or have Gene wear that sweater.
There you go.
There you go.
Pledge of allegiance to Gene.
The mayor said he got a flag in here.
I'll get a flag
Vote
in
on that.
Then we don't have to vote on it?
No, if you got a flag in here, we can say the pledge.
And I
That'd be nice.
guys, you can,
Yeah.
Can we say a prayer too?
Yes.
Yes.
Can we say a prayer
in here?
You can do whatever you like to, the council, because of a lot of different
Yeah, right.
religious.
Right. And that's why you don't want
They
to
just have a
get too
moment
much
of silence.
flag outside.
Yeah.
Moment of silence in the pledge, that's no problem.
Silent prayer.
Maybe they can have a flag in here by the next meeting.
Yes.
I'll do my best.
I appreciate
Yes.
it. Okay, that's a good thought. Okay, well, let's get started, because I want to get a mayor time to make any comments even when we get our stuff out of the way right quick.
Okay,
got
fine.
anything to share the first
Yeah,
thing?
one thing I want to share, and I'm glad he's here, is a thanks to Brother Kenny Fry.
Oh, yeah.
Because I went up to, is it Lakeland?
Yeah,
I went to Lakeland.
When he was giving out that food and.
No, the toys,
The
and,
toys.
I mean, but the kids were just boom, beaming, you know, it was a great turnout. In fact, one of my friends came in, your new secretary came in, she told me she came in after
Yes.
I left, yeah.
Yeah, Miss-
But I want to thank you for that, it was a wonderful turnout, great effort.
He beat me to it, because I got the papers, it was in the paper a couple of times.
Did you?
I'm
I'm just proud.
Yeah.
I'm just proud that he associates with us.
Me too.
He called himself a member of the commission,
Yeah.
so we benefiting from his positive activity.
And from his son.
Right.
Thank you.
I'm done.
Reverend, and besides the flag,
One more thing besides that, I just want to wish everybody a happy new year, and be blessed, and be healthy, and much prosperity be upon you, and may God's Spirit be upon you all.
appreciate that.
Thank you. New Year.
Now,
A little bit on what me and Marty met earlier today. So we're starting to work on the Black Barbershop and breaking that down and a couple other things. Taking the group to the 10th anniversary down in Indy, seeing how we can work that out, and that's when fundraising will come into play. And the Young Black Males Matter as well. So we're meeting already to start that process, so if anybody wants to join us, please reach out to us.
what about the thing that you talked to me about, when you talked to me about a meeting or so ago, and I told you and I to go right ahead in terms of some of y'all were gonna do it to men or something?
Oh, the Fatherhood March,
Right.
Our meeting ran, I was late, so
Yeah.
we didn't get to that, but we will meet on that again. Yeah, we're still going forward with that. Actually, we got to finalize a letter we're gonna get out to our partners. And
So we're
then
gonna do
go
that.
forward, yep,
In the next week or two,
yeah.
Good.
that's
So by
when
next
we're out.
meeting, we'll have a better,
Yes.
yeah, have a better idea of where we at.
Good, good.
Well,
Is you Sergeant Arms or something? You gotta get a position on there. Sergeant Arms or something like that?
my first official council meeting was held on yesterday.
All right.
Congratulations. Thank you. At our last
You
meeting,
still gotta keep
unofficial
coming here
meeting.
though.
Yes.
Tell Fitzpatrick, you still gotta be here.
Oh, definitely,
Yeah, well,
definitely.
we're gonna work that out.
Yes.
We'll work that
Okay.
out.
That at our last unofficial meeting, I had passed out to everyone a report from the Barbershop Talk Child Support. The article that was priorly put in the newspaper regarding the Barbershop Talk initiative was actually seen by the federal OCSC, Office of Child Support Enforcement, and they asked for a story about why I chose to do the barbershop talk. And it was actually published in their Child Support Report, Volume 40, Number 10, November 2019 issue.
Congratulations.
That's what you passed out tonight?
Yes.
Yeah, I got it.
Yes, and so I have reached out to a couple of the barbers that we've already gone into to see if they are interested in participating in doing an open forum. So I'm looking at the 5 barbershops. That's also with the Black Health Initiative as well, to see if they would be interested in doing an open forum at a location and have some of the fathers to speak. And I'm also reaching out to some of our state child support enforcement workers to see if they will have time to come and speak as well. So
I thought about it afterwards and I kind of was mad at myself. I wanted to bring that up when the state chair was here. They're aware of it. I was just wondering if they would be thinking about, I think you might have mentioned expanding it to the other commissions.
That's where that other black, as Mr. Garrett said at the last meeting, he did recognize us. We've been having meetings every month about the statewide initiative, and he did bring up Michigan City, and I did bring up the fact that Tracy was implementing the child support portion, and he did give kudos to Michigan.
But did he say anything about
He said
sharing, and I say that because there's departments in all these cities, and that's a key issue. If we could get it going in the whole state, tremendous situation as far as that is concerned. So
yeah, he did say we all went out to grab something to eat afterwards, and he did say that he was going to make sure that you were there to kind of bring in that whole element so that the other counties could start doing the same thing. So kudos to you.
good. But that's
Start a
good.
movement, Tracy.
Well, and it's important. I mean, child support is key. If we don't deal with it, don't get the publicity to it that we should, and it's the kids lose. I'm concerned about the parents, but it's about the kids, about taking care of them. So, like I said, I really appreciate it. Keep pushing it. And congratulations on getting the recognition. I mean, that's for the whole city. The mayor should be happy about that. So. Anything else?
That's all I have.
Well, you got enough. Okay, John.
All right, happy 2020, everyone. The drug-free partnership, you guys didn't meet in January because it was January 2nd when we met. So the next meeting will be February 5th, 8 a.m. at Neath. So it's just across the corner. Anyone and everyone is welcome. We did secure some federal and state funding locally, and only 3 counties in the state of Indiana received federal funding. So we are very blessed to be in that position. So as information filters down and the criteria for mini grants or other grants are available, certainly then we can take a look at how they affect the population we currently serve, not only the folks in our county, but specifically black males.
We had talked about it, I think, a few years ago. Can we, as a commission, qualify for income grants?
We can, because I go to the meeting on behalf of us.
And then we talked about it a while back. Maybe this time, especially if they got some money dealing with black males, we want to be involved if possible. If you could check and see what role.
We qualify for anything because it affects black males, it affects anyone. Addiction affects everyone. So particularly they're looking at opioids. And then legalization of marijuana is a hot topic because the states on both sides of us have legalized even recreational marijuana. So there's a lot going on, you guys, with drug-free partnership. I would say on behalf of the commission and then my private practice, I probably spend 10 to 20 hours a month with drug-free partnership.
You put something together that the commission could give to them and try to get it.
Well, as we seek mini grants, you guys, we will I'll bring it to the commission.
Appreciate it.
Yep, absolutely.
Anything else?
No, I think that's about it from there.
Marty? No money?
No money. Yeah, so a couple of things. What I piggyback on what Nyla said. So April 1st will be a great opportunity for our community to be down at the State House. I know Mr. Gary had invited us someone to come down, so just your help on thinking of some ways we can get funding or some ways we can get transportation if we get a group of barbers to go down. Secondly, February 25th is coming up for their Black Males Lives Matter Day at the State House. So again, it's going to be another opportunity for to take kids down, and we're going to need some funding for transportation. I will continue to work with the school system, see if they can give us a bus. But the last couple of times, due to manpower issues, it's been a no-go. So we've had to go with the charter bus situation. We've been fortunate the last couple of times, we had money. Then this last time and the time before, I think we got some community sponsors. Horizon Bank pitched in. IBE gave us some money for the last trip, and we were able to. And what's been great is Gary's been partnering with us to cover the transportation fee, but also get our kids together. And this last time, our numbers weren't as great, but the collaboration between the kids were a lot better. Like the kids actually mixed and mingled the whole time there. So that, even though we didn't have the numbers we had, that's big, and I really like to see that. So I will continue to work with Gary and with transportation. It's just a win-win situation, and it makes sense for us. We're both going to the same spot. We're both in the same area. We can share costs and get our kids down there. So just want your thoughts about that. If anybody had any ideas. Secondly, Black History Month is coming up. The committee has started meeting. We should finalize our calendar here soon. I know in the past I've asked the commission for $500. I'm not even gonna ask this year because I know our money situation is. I mean, if there's something you guys think we can give, I mean, that's up to you guys. I'm not even gonna ask. I'll hustle somewhere else to get money to cover that part. But I would like everybody's participation. We have one subtraction this year. Mr. Williams, who always does a phenomenal job with the Black History Month display. Well, unfortunately, due to his state right now, he's not going to do that. So that's going to be like a big miss for us. It's going to be it's like a big loss for us because his display is like a museum.
Is his health?
Yeah, his health. He has back to work. So we will be missing out, but we will still have our activities. You all will be receiving yourself, and also Mr. Mayor, I'll be reaching out to you. Invitations to the brunch, which will be February 1st, is our kickoff. That we also always invite our community stakeholders to and give out information. We have a keynote speaker. I don't want to tell you my keynote speaker yet, just in case I don't get them. We're looking at somebody younger that's from Michigan City. Either they're still here or they're out doing something to kind of come back and talk to us. We've been fortunate in the past to also have great keynote speakers. I don't know if you guys missed Theo Williams, you missed a phenomenal speaker, and then Mr. Payne started us off. So so we've had some good speakers in the past. So that stuff is coming up. So look out for it. Just ask for your participation. We probably put together about 20 different events during the month that's Michigan City based, and not tooting our horn because it's a committee, and I'm fortunate to work with about 10 or 12 good people on an annual basis. But I've never been a couple places. I've never really seen nobody else really do it kind of like we do, and that's been our goal and our mission is to get stuff for our community to have continuous stuff. I'm hoping to have some different youth working in some of our events like our Black Cinema, where last year Sydney Starks actually opened up the event, and then she would moderate the talk at the end of the movie. So we're looking to do some things like that. We have a Gospel Fest coming up, we have Quiz Bowl. So all those things. So just looking for your participation this year. So I won't ask for your money, but I do want to see your faces.
Well, the commission might not be in a position that you can always use for personal donations.
That's right.
Yeah, so $1,000 a piece.
Yeah, right. We'll talk about it.
Since we have the mayor and the city council member here, I know between them two, you can get $1,000. Oh, we have two. We're doing good. And then last, before I turn it over to Mr. Novell, or we go on, I would like to congratulate or introduce our new Human Rights Commission Executive Director, Tatanisha Clark George.
Welcome.
Glad to have you back.
Yeah, welcome back.
Glad to have you back. The Human Rights Commission voted last night to accept the mayor's appointment or hiring of Mrs. George back to the Human Rights Commission as Executive Director. So
Good.
Awesome. You got anything you'd like to say, young lady?
Actually, no. I think I know most of the people around the table. I'm gonna age myself, but I think I was here when this first started, so I'm glad to see that I'm glad to see that it has continued over the years, and it seems like it's doing, what it was formed to do, which is impact lives in Michigan City, so I'm glad to see that it still continues to do so. And I'll be popping in from time to time.
Didn't you just have a birthday?
No, sir, no, Mr. Cox.
We glad to see you back. And you stay strong and you stay committed, and thank goodness the mayor saw that.
We were very, very lucky to be able to steal Tanisha away from the county.
Yeah, I think it's the best thing in the world. So just glad to see you back at home.
Thank you.
Well, I'm sorry, I thought I said that was my last one. Two more last things. Again, thank you, Mayor, for bringing Mrs. George back. Great asset to not just this office, but this whole community.
The city as a whole.
And then secondly, Secretary, can you check and see, because I know Tanisha might be able to tell us, but when did our commission actually start? I know it was about 98.
98.
Because that could be like an event for us to kind of celebrate. I mean, because we've been over 20 years now, so that might be a fundraising event for us. So if you could check for me, let me know.
I think it was 98 or 99. Okay,
Thank you.
You said two more things, and that was one.
That was it. I thank the mayor. That was it.
Okay.
Lester.
On a personal level, I would like to, for anybody that's watching, Brother Fly is just an example of what hard work, determination, he's accomplished so much.
Selfishness.
And then people say handicapped. Man's not handicapped. Trust me. And it's just amazing the things that he's able to do and that is willing to do. And he is a very good example that some of these young brothers should be looking at and paying attention to and just grab his pants leg and pull up on it, He's doing a hell of a job, and I'm happy that the commission is willing to do all we can to help him out and keep him going.
Right. You said a lot. Gene?
And I just want to reiterate with our secretary, work on that report for the council. We need that in a timely fashion.
Anything else?
That's all I have.
You told him you was too old to be president of the council?
Oh,
Is that what you told him? Oh, okay, we'll talk about that later. Did you know this one on the council?
I hope so. Yeah, I am. I'm a senior on the council.
That's what I thought. All right. Well, man, it's your turn.
Well, thank you, Mr. President. I'm glad to be back in government, in a position where I can really make an impact. Just to have a couple questions. The event that was held in Lakeland,
Yes, sir.
can you tell me where that was at?
That was
at the
at
Martin Luther King Center?
No, it was at the community center in Mary Hill Estates, the actual projects.
Yes, I do.
The community center has a big center out there with computers and everything, and it's really not being in use now, so I try to take advantage of it with our Fly High Youth Services. We have a nonprofit and have things out there for the kids. And that time right there was Christmas giveaway, food, feeding them, and giving the kids presents and stuff like that. That was less unfortunate that wasn't able to have the benefits of having a joyous holiday. So
Well, that's wonderful.
Thank
The
you.
reason I asked is because at the last campaign forum, the Ministerial Association forum, I made the statement that I was going to do everything possible to make improvements to the Martin Luther King Center.
Yeah, I was there.
But I wasn't aware of Maryville. I would really like to see that if I can, because I'm dedicated to the youth of Michigan City and giving them places to stay involved. So I'd like to see that.
The name of that location is the Yvonne Stevens Norvell Learning Haven.
I'm sorry?
The Yvonne Stevens Norvell Learning Haven is the name of the location.
That's the name of it?
Yep, in Lakeland Estates.
Okay.
Yep.
And I understand Martin Luther King Center, the building is privately owned.
Yeah,
And so I'm going to look into that.
Is it possible that you can help Fly High Youth find a home? Because we are actually tremendous. I mean, like relentless. I mean, we only been established for like 5 months, but we have done so much from a back to school giveaway, and from a turkey drive, from this Christmas drive. We have done all this within 5 months of being established, so I can only imagine a year in service of helping the community and kids. And right now we have a SOAR program that the Housing Authority allowed us to go back out to that community center. We're going to have 30 inner city kids. We're going to mentor them, back to school tutor them, and also let them speak about their home life, anything they need possible. And we have tutors, we have mentors already. We have a school teacher, we have a pastor, we have a great deep in-depth board of directors. We have transportation, we have a bus to pick them up and drop them back off to help the parents with less stress, get them there and get them back adequately. And as of right now, we're kind of in a standpoint where we're just bouncing home to home, who's ever opening the doors for us. And whoever does, we always turn the place out, you know. Big turnout, plenty kids and parents being benefited. And yeah, we just right on the rise. We're reaching out for any kind of help and sponsors, anything we possibly can get, Mr. Mayor, honestly.
Well, if you would introduce me to the group, I'll do everything I can so that the group can grow and sponsor.
Okay, that'd be great. So I'll give you a contact.
That's why I asked. Because in my campaign, one of my statements that I made was the people of Michigan City, everyone here, are my brothers and sisters.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I think I asked you a question.
That's what I feel.
I was one of the questions where I was actually where you were interested in having nonprofits from here help the people, and you was like, yes, you are.
Yes,
you
I
would
am.
rather have to reach home than have to reach out of state. I really appreciate your generosity.
Absolutely.
Excuse me, Brother Fly.
Yes, sir.
They know that you fed 100 families on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, sure did. Yeah, fed over 100 families on Thanksgiving. And it was a combination of the help from the community donating also. I got to give a great deal back to them. You know, we ask for donations and it just come pouring in. You know, we also contribute, but the community is so receptive to us. And sometimes I have tears in my eyes because, you know, I'd be overwhelmed, you know. Even at Christmas time, they was giving us toys all the way up on Christmas. It was piling my house up. I didn't have nowhere to put it at, you know. So I still was giving out toys like on the actual Christmas day at 5 in the morning from my home to kids and families.
Yeah. Well, one other question I have, pretty well covered. The barbershop event, I'm coming in, just getting back in the saddle. I don't know what that is.
Marty, you want to give them a breakdown?
Yes, also now you can chime in. So the Black Barbershop Health Initiative is a state initiative that the Indiana Commission puts forth with, what's the other, who else they're part of somebody else, but what they do is, since our commission is part of, what's there, 12 other local commissions that tie into the state commission? 14. So like Kokomo, Richmond, Bloomington, Indianapolis, South Bend, Gary, Fort Wayne, they all have commissions too, Jeffersonville. And so what they do is each community on the certain weekends throughout the month, we go out to our barbershops, and what we do is we provide medical and non-medical people. So medical people will give them, can you tell me the test?
Yeah, it's blood glucose. So it's testing for
BMI?
Yeah, your BMI. So we do body mass index. So it's your weight, blood pressure, and glucose testing.
Okay.
So we try to encourage all the males that come in to get a haircut that day to get screened. It is no
prostate van's gonna be this time, isn't it?
I don't know about that.
Not here.
I don't know about that. We could try. So, and, you know, we partner, we have t-shirts, we provide lunch, you know, so we encourage the barbers to get screened, so then, you know, their patrons can see them doing it, and then they're most likely to, you know, get screened as well, because that is one of the highest, you know, leading cause of death from black males is, you know, hypertension, you know, high blood pressure, which leads to stroke. So we have all this literature on every table at every location of all those different types of chronic illnesses.
That's great.
For them to see. So, yeah, it's screening, because prevention is the key.
Well, I guess the main reason I was asking, and I really appreciate knowing what is in it now,
Yes.
is that where the term barbershop came from, because if it was voluntary that barbershops volunteered, my barber is KB on Hilltop, and I hope he's involved because I think quite highly of him. KB's on Hilltop?
Yeah, so we focus on barbershops. We have 5 barbershops that we use. And so what becomes a dilemma for us is actually having enough personnel to man the barbershop. So because we started off with 2 or 3. And so we've added 2 more. We focus on, like I say, different barbers who want to come in. I mean, KB, I know you're talking about his barbershop. He's not involved, but what can happen is some of our other things we can do, he can be involved, or we can have literature there. It's just fact of being able to man those locations with medical and non-medical people. So, I mean, we would like to do all the barbershops.
I can't speak on his behalf,
There's a lot
but
of
I think he would be.
Yeah, there's a lot of barbershops that would like to be involved. Again, we just don't have the personnel to go
Yeah, I
there.
understand.
So we focus on the 5 different ones. We've increased to 5. If we come into a position we can increase them more, I mean, we would love to have, like I said, we would love to have every barbershop, that black barbershop in the city doing it, but we just don't have the manpower to do it at this time.
I
So
understand.
And the reason that historically barbershops is where black men have come from, gossip and do their thing. So
I've learned a lot of good things at
yeah, so that's
Black Man's Country Club.
yeah, that's part of the basis why we use barbershops. And then they get to know each other, they're familiar, and it's a good form to deal from in terms of getting them to. One of the biggest problems with black men, and young and old, is going to the doctor or being tested or examined. And there's some examined, like you mentioned, prostate. Prostate is one of the main killers in black men, but they have a problem with the test. The physical test, they have a psychological problem with that. And they don't want to get a blood for the PSA. But we keep trying to talk to them, educate them, and encourage them. And our responsibility is to get the information to them.
Sure.
And they got free will whether they want to deal with it or not. But we doing all we can to inform them and encourage them and support them. And we've been pretty lucky with it. I mean, we have, 50, 60 men each year or better, and barbershops are getting involved, and it's becoming a pretty successful program.
We went from paper originally to technology.
Oh, it's really great.
It's been a lot.
So we're gonna do that every year and keep building it.
Well, that's all I have, Mr. Payne. Thank you.
Hey, just to add on that just a little bit, if you know, the problem is, it's not like Marty said, the number of shops that we can have. It is staffing. So not necessarily just non-medical. We need people who are either an MA or a nurse in order to take the blood and know what to do with that. Because if anything happens at that shop, then we are responsible for that. And if they have a high reading or whatever, we need that person to be able to let them know where they need to go, what does this, 120 over 80 mean, and stuff like that. They don't want to hear that from me. Let me get them to the table and let the medical people deal with that. So that's what we have some issues with from time to time. So it's not the amount of shops.
Question: would it be possible to partner with maybe like Ivy Tech or somebody, or to help bring in nurses that may need training? Because one of the things that even on these campaigns we talked about was internships and returnships, and I think that a lot of times that we overlook the fact that we have people here who are qualified but just need the experience. And so if we could find a way to, it's just a thought process.
But they got liability problem with that.
They have to at least be a medical assistant.
Yeah, they can't be a student. They actually need to be a certified medical assistant.
Okay, but if they're a medical assistant, that is a
And so we can do all that. Here's the problem, though. Who's going to give up their Saturday morning, afternoon voluntarily? And that becomes an issue. Before Nyla worked on HealthLink, we've had a great list of people who personally wanted to work because of Nyla's connection, but it's just hard. So we get them. We get those people. It's just hard. Ask somebody to get their Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon up. If you've been going to school and working all week, now you got to go.
And that's why my recommendation is because students often are looking for some way to get the experience, but like you said, if they have
And
to
they
have
can do non-medical and be there and see, but they have to be attached to a medical person.
Okay.
So they can come, we can use them in other capacities, you know, the non-medical part where they're typing in the information, you know, while that medical person is doing that, so then they can at least learn, they're watching, they're sitting there, they're getting their hours, you know what I mean? So that's another way that they can spin it if they're not already certified.
Okay.
Okay.
We don't want the students experimenting.
Right. That's all. That's all.
We want professionalism.
And it's just a pin stick, it's not
I
a drawing.
know.
still
But you know,
don't want
some men are excited about that.
Trust me, I've been there for it. Convincing folks that they want to do it.
It's big.
All right. Yeah, the NAACP.
Yes, so the NAACP is having their third annual Trailblazers event and scholarships award banquet. Scholarships are already available. If you know any male and female, because we usually do one male and one female for $1,000, that is interested in a scholarship opportunity and they have at least 2.5 GPA, please have them either, there are scholarship applications already available at the high school. You can just have them go up to the office and ask for a scholarship there. And they are also available online at the NAACP LaPorte County branch, 3061.com. So please, any student, senior, male or female that's interested, please apply. And I know Marty, I just want to put this out there because it's like that season. Marty also shared a scholarship opportunity on the social status page. If I'm not
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Thanks for reminding me. I knew I had one more thing. So Jared Jones, who you guys know from LTG, you know, helps sponsors camps. He plays professional basketball and does a lot in our community. He actually, last year he gave $1,000 last year he gave us $2,000. For last year he did something for Black History Month, but this year he wanted to do a black business startup.
Yeah.
And I actually, if you guys checked your emails, I actually emailed everybody his flyer. Now, I know we just ran into a issue of doing stuff without voting on it, but he's been a partner with us and they wanted to get it out. So they did put our name on it. I told him I would bring it to the commission, but it costs us nothing.
Right.
All just our name on it. He's going to give us $3,000 for us to hand out to the person who either we'll be part of the committee or he has a committee to select. He just wants us to hand out the money. That's it.
Beautiful.
So we have no other all they do is our name on it and hand out the money. So it's the black it's the black business startup. It's for $3K. They have a website that you go to and they have the template, the scores template for the business. It's for high school and college students. And they fill it out, email it to Jared's email. They look over the proposals, they'll submit the winner to us, and we'll present them with a check.
It's the Black Business Kickoff Start Competition, and you can submit your business plan to lovethegameindiana@gmail.com.
The actual flyer is on our Facebook page. So anybody that wants to get that information, go to our website, go to our Facebook page. I will try to get with the city web person to see if we can put it on the city's website also under our commission.
I can send it to Scott.
Okay.
Yeah. And then just to FYI, the deadline is February 20th. So, you know, you have until next month, but the deadline is February 20th. And it is $3,000 worth of prizes for starting a business.
So we've been blessed to be associated with positive experience. You do positive things, then positive things happen to you. Not just that, but just like Brother Fly. I mean, we were name associated with him, but he feels a part, and we benefit. As a matter of fact, he already made his plea. So our husband actually really had something else to say.
Don't get fed.
He didn't represent it, and I appreciate that because I was going to give him an opportunity anyhow, but he talked right to the man, so we can't beat that. But like the good brother said, and I was going to say it too, I got the 2 articles at the house. I was going to bring them. I was so impressed. The Thanksgiving, the Christmas, you got beautiful coverage. I was telling him the coverage from the media is exciting for him because he's trying to get established and letting the community know he's doing something. So we blessed to have him feeling a part. You see, he come up here in all kind of weather in his little car, and that's our benefit. So thank God for him, and as far as I'm concerned, like I said, he's an honorary member of the commission, and we're gonna benefit together.
Thank you,
I
sir.
love
I
it.
appreciate
I love
y'all
it.
very much. You appreciate you.
Hey, no, we appreciate you, and in the end, everybody gonna appreciate you, because just like Lester said, we're disabled because we're trying to do things we can't do. You're doing things that other people dream about. So that's what's important. Just keep up the good work.
So can I finish? Because Mark
You had something else for me?
I just didn't get a chance to finish.
My bad, sorry.
But again, the Trailblazers event is March 21st. We are, our theme is When Education and Economics Rise, We Rise. Our keynote speaker is Dr. George Frazier, who is like a multi-million-dollar network producer, and he kind of talks about the power of the dollar and kind of follows, I don't want to say in the footsteps of Carl Anderson, but in that similar capacity. And so we're just hoping that we can have, our goal is to get around about from 300 to 500 people. And we're still seeking sponsorship. So if you guys are able to sponsor, I do have tickets as well. Tickets are $50. Sponsorship will include helping, again, for our funding for the entire year. So if you are interested, please let me know. I can get you a sponsorship package. If you know anybody or any other smaller businesses that would like to do that, greatly appreciate it. One of our, just right off the top of my head, one of our honorees is Donnie Thomas. And one of the things that I would like to do is reach out to the school and do a Kids' Choice Awards, because I think a lot of times that we don't, like, we wait until these people are out of school, like Donnie Thomas, and we talked about this before, when people pass on and they get more recognition than when they're here. And so I think it's important to involve the students and do a Kids' Choice Awards for the students that are already there. And another person is also Tracy Lipscomb, whose birthday was just recently. So I just wanted to put that out there. Again, tickets are $50. It's March 21st, and our speaker is George Frazier. And don't forget about the NAACP general membership meeting, which is on the 4th Thursday of this month, but I don't have the actual date for that. But thank you. That's all for me.
No problem.
Mr. Payne, there's one more thing about, I just wanted to mention, in February, we Baha'i Youth was starting a SOAR program out there in Lakeland at the community center. I was going to say, we don't really need the donations and stuff, because we're kind of waiting for the Enrichment Corp to help us on a grant situation. And then we also have Horizon Bank that's going to help sponsors. But we do accept volunteer work. People that might want to come by and mentor the kids or speak to the kids or whatnot. And if you anyone or know anyone that's interested, we always have open arms for the community and mentors and volunteers and stuff of that sort to help us with the kids that's going to be out there. So that's all.
And can you have a board meeting? Is your board meeting open?
Yeah, my board meeting is open to the public at Parks Department on Saturday on Franklin Park, P period.
Yeah,
we're having a board meeting at 10 a.m. to 12. That's going to introduce the SOAR program and get all our board members associated with what we got going on. Make some more activities for the kids, and it's going to be 2 days a week, 2 hours a day. Still get the kids their life and home life, but try to catch them before they run out on the streets. So it'll be 4 to 6 p.m. Saturday at 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Yes, sir. Anyone's welcome to come also.
Yeah, I forgot. Man, if you don't mind, I'm gonna let the president of the council say
Well, I was going to introduce him. This is the president of our city county council, Sean Fitzpatrick. Mr. President.
Thank you. Thank you. But yeah, now I'm a former member of the commission, so this is home for me. So just wanted to come in and say Happy New Year, everybody. Look forward to seeing what you guys get done this year. There was one official order of business I did have with you guys, so I don't know if you guys have discussed this or not, but the Youth Leadership Commission.
We're trying to get one right away.
Okay, that was just one thing, because we had, they had their last meeting, and since I was here, I thought
we talked about that first. And maybe you can have the age. You could do that.
Between 16 and 22.
16 and 22.
16 and 22.
Okay. Yeah, we talked about that, and we're gonna try to get that filled in the next week or two.
Okay, that'd be great. 'Cause they're looking to start their committees and get their fundraising efforts going, and they need that 9 members to really be all the way in.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. Any other comment, input, all right, well, I hate to close this meeting. Wait, is this private? Are they doing politics?
Bringing it back as well.
The motion for adjournment?
Yeah, I was thinking that.
Yeah.
We had a motion and a second for adjournment. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.